I wanted to ask about one of the more recent knives you have, this keyhole knife that you made.
Yes.
Um, what what is the process for the keyhole? Are you pressing that
So
into the blade, or how do you get it to fit so nicely?
I know some people use a pantograph to make that, but the issue is that the
Hmm.
radius of the end mill is to be thought about. So you can't make sharp corners if you use that method. So yes, I use a press fit. So you just shape the wood a bit prouder, like 5/10 of a millimeter on each side. I tried to be more accurate and leave less material, but for weird
Hmm.
reasons, even if I was not going past my scribe line, there was holes. So I just leave a lot of material. I make a chamfer on the top of the block, and I press fit. This is a method I learned from Salem Strobe YouTube channel. Actually, you press fit it, and
Hmm.
with a vice, a milling vice, not on the press or anything, because you will destroy the whole blade and the handle. And when you feel like it's too hard to push, you just dismantle it. And I made a little scraper, and I scrape the material away, and I do that until it fits well. But the issue I had is that temper. I do a soft temper on the fittings of the hidden tanks or the keyhole lugs actually,
Hmm.
because you will break that if you don't, for sure. So it becomes a spring, and when you press fit it, it's so springy that the fit at the ends won't work. So
It'll open up on you.
I made like some kind of C out of steel bars to leave the some room to for the wood to go through, and I welded it on the knife so I could just shear it away without it springing. But when I finished the knife, I etched it just to see the pattern, and there was some weld marks
Uh-huh.
because the TIG welder goes pretty deep, a lot deeper than I thought. So I had to grind more. But it's easy to find methods, but finding good processes that are reliable it's a lot more complicated actually.
And the actual keyhole pattern itself in the steel, is that like exactly the same on both sides, or is it slightly tapered so you can get that press fit?
So I know Rodrigo Sfredo, the Brazilian mastersmith who invented the keyhole. I'm not sure he does that. He still does that, but I know that before he was doing a taper, yes, like you said, but I did not
Hmm.
because I think I never tried, but I think it will make the process harder for me. But the real challenge is that at the moment I haven't shown anything about this, but I'm working on a mosaic Damascus. It's my first mosaic, and I'm making a keyhole, but I want to use carbon fiber for it. And as you know,
Hmm.
carbon fiber doesn't like to be sheared, so I'm not sure how it
Yep.
will perform.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know that I've ever seen one with carbon fiber before.
Hailey DeRozier makes already made a few of them, and she told me that sometimes if you push too hard, you can break and snap the knife.
Very interesting. Yeah, I would definitely like to try and make a keyhole someday. They very nice looking knives.
Honestly, I was very afraid to make the first attempt, and in the end, I find it a lot easier than making a knife guard fit, like the perfect guard slot fit.
Really?
This has been a lot
Hmm.
more trouble for me than making the keyhole. I just scrapped one or two blocks, and it was okay then.
I imagine the choice of wood will make that easier for you too if you pick the right kind of wood.
Yes, exactly. So African blackwood, it's I know they use that in the States, but in France we use more ebony that is similar to African blackwood.
Hmm.
Ironwood works very well, and all the hardwoods that you can shear away. I think cocobolo would work well too, but wood that are too soft or carbon fiber, micartas, G10s, it will work, but it will be a pain.
That sounds terrible. Sounds very hard to make one from synthetic carbon fiber.
Yeah.
You have to be a masochist, I guess. And looking at the recent keyhole, it looks like there are some, like the underside of the keyhole, there's the steel seems thin-ish. I saw some maker, I don't remember who, on Instagram. He actually broke his knife while doing forcing, way over forcing, I guess, the keyhole itself. So doing carbon fiber, which is like super compositive, I cannot say it right. It would be even harder on the steel. That sounds like a super intense.
You know what?
Thing
I
to
will
do.
tell you in a few days. We will learn that.
Oh, you will try?
Yeah,
Really?
I'm trying at the moment. I have the knife in the kiln annealing at the moment. I made some mosaic Damascus. It was the first time, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but like 3 weeks before a show, when I'm already late, I have that idea of let's make something I never tried that is very complicated, and we'll see. And it's always the same.
That is why you are going for the Mastersmith. And your first show was freaking Atlanta.
Yeah, because
Christ.
as you told, I'm a masochist.
Yeah. That is insane. Like, I scrolled through your Instagram feed and I looked at your reels, and the very, very first reel that you posted was a reel of Venturi burners, which is actually the same. I posted the same first reel when I started knife making my own Venturi burner. Do you use a forge that you built yourself, or are you using something pre-built?
So, I think you have seen the ribbon burner I made a few years ago, because I had a Venturi burner, but then
2017.
Yes, I'm still using that same forge actually.
Oh wow!
So I did some modifications on it recently. I just made the injector for the gas a bit smaller, and it saves a lot of propane because it's so expensive at the moment. The big 35 kilogram bottles were lasting like 2 or 3 days, and now it's more like a week, I think, depending on what I made.
And you're using a Venturi burner still, right?
I'm using just the ribbon.
A ribbon burner. Oh, okay. I heard those are way more efficient than the Venturi ones.
It's not true, actually.
Yeah. It's
Because
not true? Ribbon burners? Mm-hmm.
It's people say you can put the manometer a lot way more with less propane, you know. You can run a ribbon burner at 0.1 or 0.2 bars instead of 0.8 for a Venturi. That is true. But a Venturi, the size of the injector that puts the gas, might be like 0.8 millimeter or 1 millimeter. On a ribbon burner, some people use like 2 millimeter holes, 1.5. I currently have a 1.35 one, and this makes all the difference. Because even if you don't put a lot of propane, the hole is so big that the flow is gigantic. So it does use a lot of propane, but the heat is so crazy on these things. We were making some Damascus this summer with my friend Honoré Villain, which is a folder maker. And we forgot the billet for 5 or 10 minutes in the forge. And I did not know it was possible, but we melted the outer layer of the billet.
Well, I never thought about it. Everyone just thinks about the pressure, but the flow and the size of the hole.
That makes a big difference. It doesn't seem like much, but I was using a 1.9 millimeter injector before, and switching to 1.35 makes a huge difference. It changed everything. Honestly, it will save you a lot of gas.
And for heat treatment, do you use the same gas forge, or do you use a kiln?
Yeah, I use a kiln because I think it's already difficult enough like that. I don't want to add problems into the equation.
You're not enough of a masochist.
Yeah, not that much. If I have the choice, I won't... Okay, I have the choice to use wood instead of carbon fiber, but for the heat treat, no, I don't want to heat treat in the forge. I think we all did it enough at the beginnings of the journey, so when you have a kiln, just use it if you can. But yeah, there is a lot of things to make in a knife shop actually, because I don't know how it is in your country, but in France and Europe compared to the States, finding the right tools is not easy actually.
Oh, it's super difficult. It's super hard. Especially every country uses different languages, and it's so hard to search for stuff on Google. And you find basically just sellers in America if you try to Google something in English. And it's hard to find something local. Especially here for me in Lithuania, we have it's a very small country, you know, so we don't have a lot of suppliers. And if you want to look in a bigger country, the closest is Poland. But you have to search everything in Polish to find something. And if you don't know Polish, you're fucked. So, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't translate well. You
hard.
can't understand anything if you're not Polish, right?
Yeah, even if... Oh, no. no. Even if you try and use Google Translate to find something, it doesn't correctly translate the technical speech or the slang that they would use, you know, to sell especially older tools in their websites. And this actually was one of my biggest problems that I wanted to solve. And I added a page to my webpage, balticblades.com, where I list a lot of suppliers of tools, like kilns, grinders, knife materials in Europe, in different countries, like in Germany, Austria, Czech Republic, Italy, even some French and UK stores where you can actually find something, because when I started, it was pretty much impossible to find anything.
When did you start?
I believe 2018, so